And welcome to EV News from KK number 7. There is 6 more to catch up on this. Number 1 might be a bit way back when, so it won't be really news. 2 might be the same, but after about 3, it's every 7 to 10 days. So if you've not heard a great deal about the EV world and you're only just coming on board, get a look at them. Here and here is 5 and 6. So go see them. They are on the channel, along with all our adventures that we do on this here KK and family. But this is about the news, so let's get on with number 7. Okay, first off, quite a big one this for Hertz Rent-A-Car. Hertz have been around for many years in the US, in Europe, in England or whatever. Worldwide company, nearly went bust about 5 months ago, but have seen the light. They're going full electric. They've just done a deal worth to Tesla around $4.1 billion US. Shock horror. What this is 100,000 Model 3s from Tesla, all brand new, and believe it or not, they paid the same price as any other retail. They didn't get any discount for placing an order of 100,000, so it's believed. This is what's made it this super deal. They're also going to install around 40,000 to start with EV chargers with Hertz written on them and blah blah blah, but hey, they'll be Teslas, so the supercharger network will be there for you to use anyway. So to have another 40,000 on top, great news for anyone renting a vehicle in the US and eventually in Europe. Happening first in the USA. These cars have now been ordered. They're awaiting production and awaiting delivery, so don't expect to go down and get a Model 3 straight away, folks. It's going to be maybe 6 months to a year before this all comes on board. But it's good news I feel for the EV world, good news for anyone renting a car, and great news for me because I want to tour the US in the next 2 or 3 years, and I want to do it in a full EV. So with the backup of Tesla and the backup of Hertz, well done the both of you. The deal itself added on about £1.2 billion worth of shares to Hertz when this all came out about a week ago. Also to Tesla, their shares rocketed through the roof when this was put forward. It's just a standard thing, whereas if Hertz are going to do it, that means that the other rental car manufacturers have got to get on board. So if you are thinking about renting a car in the next 2 or 3 years, don't be surprised if you're offered electric first over petrol or diesel. And of course you're not damaging the environment and the air we breathe. So well done Tesla, well done Hertz Rent-A-Car, and the best of luck with that project. Okay, number 2 on KK EV News, Jaguar Land Rover. Now I'm not a big massive fan of Jaguar Land Rover Group because they're very slow on the uptake of electric cars. The great I-Pace, wonderful car, great car, but why they didn't transform that intelligence and that tech and everything else from that car into 2 or 3 others, I've no idea. They're still selling big old fossil fuel car engines, and even that new Range Rover that came out a couple of days ago, it's still what is a big fossil fuel engine polluting the atmosphere, giving you filthy air to breathe in your local city or local town. So every time you see that big old Range Rover go down the road, and especially the older ones, because they're really bad, you know, 4 litre, 5 litre big things, smoking out all that bad crap. Last year, I believe, because they didn't get to the EU laws of emissions, there's figures of £35 million being flaunted around that they got fined. 35 million. 35 million. Would that not have been better, JLR, to invest that 35 million in your own cars and vehicles and think, hey, this is the time to go more electric? No, you made a boo-boo. You didn't, did you? And this year's the same. Because of this horrible new Range Rover they've got out, they're actually quite admittedly opening to say, oh look, you know, we want to sell these things, we want to get that Range Rover up to the top mark again. And believe it or not, they're not very reliable, the old ones, so be careful if you're buying a new one. I can't see a great deal's changed. But if you're buying a new one, it's nothing to do with EVs on this channel. I won't ever show you a picture of it because it's just a waste of time in my opinion. But because of that vehicle, I believe JLR are holding back on going full electric. I think the technology's not there for them yet in a big way to take this big horrible SUV vehicle, this big 4x4 thing that, you know, women use and men use to drive around Chelsea in England and take kids to school. What a complete waste of time. But JLR got fined, like I say, which is great news, and the I-Pace is still my favourite and only one vehicle I'd ever even consider getting in as a passenger, never mind buying, because it is a good vehicle. So Because of this, they're pooling their resources with Tesla and Honda. And you're allowed to do this as manufacturers, and you get one manufacturer that's got a real low emissions ratings, like Tesla, because they don't make any fossil fuel cars. Then you get another one tagged on that make a few hybrids like Honda, and minimal sales. And then of course you drag in one that's full fossil. Now they dragged into the pool with Tesla and Honda to keep their figure down. So they take the three companies, and out of that company comes the data, bloom. People do the figures, far more educated than me, and say, that's where we are. And that's why they've joined Tesla and Honda to beat the emission laws. Well done, JLR, allegedly. We'll carry on. Next on EV KK News is General Motors again. I do mention GM a lot actually. It's just a great shame that they left the UK shores and sold Vauxhall out to the French. The dealers in the US and I believe Canada as well, but in the US to begin with, all getting free, may I add, from GM themselves, up to 10 chargers at each dealer. Now these 10 charge points that you'll see will be, as a normal non-GM person, a non-GM car, you'll still be able to go in and use them because they want your business. It draws you in. But the good thing about this thing is it's a community project thing where General Motors understand that 90% of their customer base lives within 10 miles of a GM dealer. So why would you not have 10 or up to 10 charge points put in if they're going to be free? To you as a dealer, I'd grab all 10, I'd ask for 20. The more people you can get there charging, the more chance you've got of selling another car, a t-shirt, merch, anything you want out of your deal, even if it's just coffees. So a great little move from GM to help the dealerships out, going and transitioning into full electric. Now these GM ones, I don't believe they'll be free. I think they're about 11.5 kilowatt an hour chargers, but they are all being set up from General Motors to the dealerships. Can't be bad. Moving northwards to Canada, the nice country that I've never visited. I must get around to going there, but I'll keep away from Alberta because Alberta's full of oil. Moving on to Canada. There's a company called Lion, and what Lion are doing are producing electric school buses. These are full electric school buses that obviously will get charged at night when they're not being used and everything else, so they'll run great, and they are getting sales of 1,000, which are being bought by the Canadian Student Authority or whatever. There is a full name there for it, but they're buying 1,000 of these things. First ones get delivered 2022, early next year, and it'll progress up to 2026. It's a 4-year deal for 1,000 buses, and the savings are enormous for them. Obviously there's no diesel, they're getting rid of the 1,000 diesel school buses, which is great news. It's great to see the Canadians going forward with something electric, because really up till now they've not been great on the EV side of the business. So yeah, 1,000 buses, and it will get rid of a lot of bad quality air within the schools and local where they're being used. Obviously figures of 23,000 tons per year by scrapping these 1,000 diesel school buses and going full electric. 23,000 tons per year. That's great of bad gases, bad air. Say goodbye to them. Well done Canada, well done Lion, who are going to produce them for them, and the quicker the better in my opinion. Moving on. Okay, number 5 on EV news. This is a real weird one, this. Us Western countries and so-called richer countries around the world seem to think that we've got it right on EVs and emissions and how we generate fuel, and we might be getting there. But how some of the poorer countries generate their electricity and their power in general is amazing. The top 10 countries in the world, they ain't the biggest countries in the world with a massive big populations, but some have got a decent population. On this list of 10, which I will put up now, if you can see that list there, you'll notice, and have a quick look, I'm going to take it down in just a moment. Where's the one Western country you can see there? Where's the US? Where's the UK? Where's anyone in Europe really, Where's anybody that you really know? Yeah, shocking. So there you go, that's the 10 countries. Now, there's even African countries on that list, and yes, okay, the population and demand might not be as much as we get here in the UK and in the US and wherever, and mainland Europe. But let's just put it straight, if they can do it, near enough third world countries, and what they're doing is they're producing most of it from hydropower. That's a big one. Solar's quite small in comparison, but it is part of it. But these people are nearly 100% generating all their power. Nearly 100%. It's about 98%, 99%. Some are actually 100% hydropower and thermal, geothermal. That's amazing. So it can be done, folks. So if they can do it, let's rock and roll, people. Let's get on that top 10. Let's be in that top 5. I think the UK is bound for glory sometime soon, but when I say soon, it's probably 5 to 7 years away. But hey, we're getting there. We're dropping the coal, we're dropping the oil to produce our electricity, and no mind what people say, which is great news. And the USA as well is starting to come on board, shutting a lot of coal power stations from 4 years ago. So that top 10 shocking, and that's the top 10 best countries to generate nearly 100% from renewable energy. Well done, people. And finally, as they used to say on the news quite often, here's one close to my heart. I've always been a big advocator of saving classic cars. Now, the only way forward of saving classic cars is not to keep them in their norm with diesel engines and petrol engines. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right. What you've got to do is dump that out. Get rid of the diesel, get rid of the petrol, all the fossil fuel, boom. Put electric gear in there. Get them converted. I upset a big forum the other day on Facebook, and I'm still getting posts back now. And if you're watching this and you've seen that, hello, yes, it was me. Basically, I just said that the Jag E-Type, okay, a classic, a British classic, worldwide seller, the Jag E-Type would be great in full electric. Now, there is a couple of companies already doing that with the Jag E-Type. They make a great job, bloody expensive. But they're quicker, leaner, they handle just as well, if not better, because they rejig everything. But they do use original E-Type bodies and chassis. That didn't go down very well with these people, the so-called purists. But anyway, that's the way forward, in my opinion, to make everything EV. That will save your classics. All these beautiful shapes, all these American classics, even muscle cars. And what I bought it up for is that there's another company called eDub in the UK that's actually getting Mark II Golfs. All you purists are starting to panic now. So if you're a Volkswagen fan, and I'm no big Volkswagen fan, but if you are, the Volkswagen Mark II Golf can now be purchased in full electric. Quicker. You know, it's just generally faster, off the mark. They're giving 2 battery options on this thing. I think the biggest battery option is about 53 kilowatt battery pack, 51, 53. They'll give you about 170 mile of proper driving. Not like a Vicar, but proper driving. It's rapid, it's quick, it handles superb, it's well built. They try and keep in the original interior as much as possible, but you've got no gear shift anymore, no manual. They dump that horrible 1.8 fossil fuel engine. That's gone. That don't pollute anymore, but you've still got that lovely grey classic Mark II Golf shape. Never a big fan personally, but a lot of people I know are. I've no actual cost variance of this thing. They offer a lower battery pack as well that was a bit lighter. 162 brake horse, like I say, but they can push it to about 270 brake horse, but it ain't that nice to drive with 270 brake horse. It's just too fierce. So one to look out for there. So I do believe that is the future of classic cars, and eDub are doing it in the UK now for you Volkswagen not so purists that want a car that's going to be quicker, cheaper to run, and hold its value. Because if you don't change them to electric, the values of your classic cars are going to drop because nobody's going to want them. So unless you've got an absolute mint one that's good enough for a museum piece, start selling, folks. If not, start saving up. Save that 4, 5, 6 grand and invest it in your classic car and go full electric, because that's the future. So that clears up EV news number 7. Hope you like that one. Take something from it. Get educated if you can. You're probably more educated than I am. I just don't know. If you're new to the channel, check out all my adventures on here, KK and family, and spread the word. Our subscriptions are going up every day, which is great news. And if you're a regular watcher, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll be back with EV8 as soon as we can. Bye for now.